Hello, it is the DE Diva, aka the Delaware blogger, coming to you on this marvelous Monday. How are you doing? I hope that your weekend was wonderful, that you were able to at least get some relaxation done since Palm Sunday was a day of relaxation and rest since we could not congregate and with churches and masses and things like that. But I wanted to pop in here again today, podcasting your purpose. And I'm a little late, I know that, but I actually had a new client meeting this morning, assisting her with setting up her podcast. So again, I am so super excited to be offering the mini coaching session. Remember, for 60 minutes, we will do a deep dive. And actually, I break it up into two 30-minute sessions to get you started, to get you thinking, to work on your title, to work on your description, work on your intro, outro. We just do a deep dive. I give you homework. And if you're interested in the Podcasting Your Purpose workbook, I actually will send that to you. That is $15.99. So if you want the course, which is $77, plus the book, it's like $92 to just make it even $92, and you can cash app that. And I will try my best. They're telling us not to go out, but I'm trying to try my best to get to the post office at least one day this week to mail out my book bundles, because I actually had an opportunity to not only sell another copy of the Podcasting Your Purpose webbook, but also the basic blogging tips for beginners, and these two together is $26. So again, if you are interested in the Podcasting Your Purpose webbook, that is $15.99. If you're interested in the basic blogging tips for beginners, that is $9.99. Together, they are $25. And if you want to sign up for the mini podcasting coaching session, please make sure that you get with me. That is $77. And again, it is well worth the investment in yourself, because I'm going to tell you, podcasting is powerful. And not only did I have a new client this morning, but I actually had an opportunity to talk to another potential client, which I believe he's going to sign up as well to get his passion with podcasting on. He's got a blog, he's got a book, he's a speaker. And you know what? Podcasting is another great way in which to connect with people who are looking for your voice and your vision. And I wanted to give you some podcasting pointers, really like what, why, and how. But what really filled my heart was I was looking and I saw that that podcasting for kids, it is blowing up. Again, podcasting. Sorry, I got hair in my face. You know what I was doing? I was actually trying to make one of those masks out of a pair of old shorts, and I got so frustrated even looking on YouTube University. So I'll figure that out later. But I had my hair all over my place, so all over my face. So I'm sorry, I apologize, but I'm done now. But actually, kids can now binge on podcasts too, because you know what? We are binging on podcasts as well, just like on Netflix. We are listening to our favorite podcast host. We are thinking about becoming a podcast guest. And we obviously are thinking about starting our own podcast as well. So Radiolab for Kids. This is WNYC Studios out of New York, I'm assuming. They have released a collection of family-friendly content with Radiolab for Kids. You remember I talked about how you can create a podcast not only for your family, but a podcast for kids to make it fun for them, whether it's reading books, their favorite books, or creating ideas, stories, all kinds of cool things that the kids can do. So they are kid-friendly stories from Radiolab archives for families to enjoy while staying home together. And you can find these episodes on radiolabforkids.org. Again, some of the topics are amazing. Is laughter just a human thing? Kill 'em all, a war we need. The times they are changing, and we know that. Mapping tic-tac-totem. So kids, get out there, listen to your favorite podcast, and then start your favorite podcast, because you know what? It is a way to share your voice, share your vision, share your message. So, audience, who is your audience? When you're thinking about starting a podcast, you want to figure out who is your target market audience. That's a question that I ask in my workshops. Who are you trying to connect with? Are you trying to connect with boomers and beyond? Are you trying to connect with millennials? Are you trying to connect with kids, families, women, men? Who are you trying to connect with? And that is going to be your most important thing to think about. When you are podcasting, who is it that you're going to be talking to? Because you're going to be having that intimate conversation, that intimate relationship. You remember, we always talk about that intimate relationship, because when I pop these earbuds in my ear, I'm between your ears. That means I'm in your brain, and the brain is the largest sexual organ in the human body. So how are we going to connect? We are going to connect in an intimate way. So who do I want to be intimate with? With women, with men, with kids, whatever. That is your audience. That is what you want to make sure that you choose your target market audience. Then you want to think about your topic, your niche, your subject. What is you going to be talking about? Remember, you're going to be creating an episode at least a minimum of once a week. So it's got to be a topic that is of interest to you. Make sure that it is something that you want to talk about each and every day. This morning, as I was working with my client, I talked about what was it that wakes you up in the morning. I know you're a business owner. I know you're a wife. I know you're a mother. I know you're a caregiver. I know all of these things. But what is the topic of your podcast? What is it going to be? Is it going to be family? Is it going to be faith? Is it going to be entertainment, education, inspiration? Whatever the case may be, think about that topic when you're dealing with your audience. Choose your audience. Now, are you going to be the host, or are you going to do guests? Are you going to have guests? So you can be have a co-host, someone that's right there with you. If it's a family thing, you can have a co-host with your spouse or with your kids. But if you're going to be doing a solo, that's great too. But that doesn't mean you can't bring in guests. So think about your guests. Who are the guests that you want? And reach out to them. If they're already in your circle, if they're part of your Facebook group, start with them. If they are part of your, family group, start with them. If it's part of your school group, your sorority, your fraternity, whatever, think about the people that you want to reach or you want to connect that's going to bring them on that complement you. You can have them with you if you're in the same house, or you can call. You can do a Zoom call. Everybody's doing Zoom, or on Anchor FM. Remember, recording with friends is an option. So you're going to do a solo, you're going to do guests. What are you going to do? Think about that. But the most important thing is a name. What are you going to name your podcast? What is it going to be? Is it going to be something as simple as the Delaware Blogger Podcast, or my new podcast, Blog Your Way to a Business Profit? Remember, every Wednesday at 1 on Elite Conversations Radio, on Blog Talk Radio, is Blog Your Way to a Business Profit, where I come and give you branding tips, blogging tips, podcasting tips, all kinds of tips to turn your passion into a profit. Let me back up. Actually, Blog Your Way to a Business Profit is just going to be blogging tips, not podcasting tips. I do the podcasting tips here on YouTube and also on Anchor FM. So I just confuse you and probably myself as well. But on Wednesdays at 1, Blog Your Way to a Business Profit, Elite Conversations Radio, which is on Blog Talk Radio. I will leave the link in the show notes so you can click that and follow it along. I just started that podcast last Wednesday. So this Wednesday is going to be the second episode, Blogging Tips Part 2. The next thing you want to think about is the length of your podcast. How long is it going to be? Remember, the sweet spot is 28 to 30 minutes. Any more after that, people start to zone out. Once we get back to our normal commute, 28 minutes, 30 minutes, even if you're in an autonomous vehicle, that is, of course, unless you're commuting in DC, New York, New Jersey, because, it can be long commutes. So 28 to 30 minutes is a good length for a podcast episode. And if you have something that's longer, you can always break it up into part 1, part 2, so on and so forth. The format. Let's talk about the format. How do you want it to run? Just like your TV show, something that you want to have. Some people want introductory music. Some people like music. I like music. Other people don't like music. So you can have music or not. But make sure that you're always friendly and greeting your listeners. Hello and welcome to the Delaware Blogger Podcast, where today we'll be talking about, why you should start a podcast. And my special guest is da-da-da-da-da. So have your intro, your welcome. I would say about, 30 seconds or so, introduce yourself. Who are you? I'm the DE Diva, aka the Delaware blogger, and I'm going to give you some blogging tips. Da, 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 da. So that's the introduction. And then tell your listeners what they, kind of give them a teaser. In this episode, we're going to talk about the nitty gritties of blogging, or the three C's of blogging, or the P's of podcasting, whatever. Give them a teaser. And if you are a entrepreneur, solopreneur, side hustler, side gigging it, MLM, whatever the case may be, why not promote your product as a sponsor? Today's podcast is being sponsored by Basic Blogging Tips for Beginner, a book and a guide for you to learn how to start a blog, drive traffic to the blog, and monetize your blog. Written by Antoinette Blake, the DE Diva, aka the Delaware blogger. But remember, we talked about bartering, so if there's a mom and pop shop out there and they want to barter content, especially now, especially restaurants that can't open up, perhaps they can do gift cards or things like that. This podcast is being sponsored by ABC Store, where you can get gift cards, gift certificates, things like that. So, advertise, might have something there. And then, of course, just get into it. Get into the thick of everything. What are you going to be talking about? Ask, questions, of your guests, if you have guests, but give the news. And then, again, you could do another ad spot. Again, today's podcast is being sponsored by the Delaware blogger, aka the Delaware blogger, the DE Diva, aka the Delaware blogger. Podcasting Your Purpose. Sign up now for a 60-minute mini coaching session for only $77, and you will receive, you can do something like that, whatever. And then, of course, the discussion, you can go further. And at the end, make sure that you always have a call to action. What do you want them to do after they finish listening to your podcast? That's your CTA, your call to action. So, that's the kind of flow of a podcast, the intro, the song, the sponsorship, the meat and the potatoes, maybe another sponsorship, and then the call to action. Your cover art, you can go right to canva.com, Canva, C-A-N-V-A. You can create some artwork there. You can get some free stock photos at my spot I'm going to now is Pick Wizard, PIKWIZARD. They have some awesome pictures. So you want to create some nice artwork. It's 3,000 by 3,000 pixels. Remember, because it's going to be like a small postage stamp when it's seen in the directory. And we'll talk about directories later, how to upload your podcast so that it is seen on iTunes or Spotify. But again, remember, with Anchor FM, they automatically promote your podcast to 11 platforms. So if you haven't started your account with Anchor FM, please do that today, this week, tomorrow, whenever you're ready to start that podcast. We'll talk about music. We'll talk about guests. We'll talk about equipment later this week, and definitely how to promote your podcast. But today, I just wanted to come in and tell you about the new kids Radiolab with kids, because I'm so super excited. When I started talking about podcasting, I talked about educators and families starting podcasts with kids, and this was before the pandemic. So again, I'm coming to you every day. I'm going to come to you every day here on YouTube, and then I'm going to come to you every day on Anchor FM, Delaware Blogger Podcast on Anchor FM, and then live on Fridays on Facebook. So follow my blog, which is delblogger.com, and that's where you can I have some great posts. Today is actually called Monkey Brain Monday. Head out and check it out. Go over there. That's also where you can order my book, Basic Blogging Tips for Beginners. It's also a great way to connect while we're together. So until the next time, stay smart, stay safe, and stay social from a distance, because I will see you in cyberspace. See ya. It's the DE Diva, aka the Delaware blogger. Have a beautifully blessed day. Bye-bye.